hanes,
our history.
our present, ein presennol.
What a time to respond! After getting Wales back into it, Kayleigh Green is sent off.
Ein dyfodol.
Our future.
They're our 12th player, they're our drive. We're growing and growing every campaign.
Our game.
It's Tuesday night under the lights here at the Cardiff City Stadium, and Wales women go again in this World Cup qualifying campaign. They're unbeaten in 3, Estonia, the visitors to the capital. Well, it ended all square against Slovenia away on Friday night in a fiery contest. Tonight, 3 points would do very nicely indeed as Wales aim to reach a major tournament for the very first time in their history. And there we have it, the team Gemma Granger has backed to get that job done. And the Red Wall is back to cheer on Gemma Granger and the girls, and it's quite the milestone for Wales. This their biggest ever crowd for a home women's international. Good evening, and yes, you can add another 3 to that 5,000 plus crowd here this evening. Myself and my guests, Katie Sherwood and Nia Jones. Good to see you both on such an occasion. The girls themselves have described this crowd as unbelievable. Katie, did you ever think you'd see the day?
Honest answer, no. It's something that we always dreamed of and hoped for, but you know, what an incredible milestone we're at today, and we have to give credit to the FAW for the hard work they're putting on behind the scenes to promote the visibility of the women's game, but also to the women, because they, you know, the crowds are here for them this evening, and it's their fan base that they've built.
Yeah, and I think the previous record was 3,800, and it came 3 years ago against England, who had a team full of superstars, Ballon d'Or nominees. No disrespect to Estonia, but nobody is here to watch the opponents tonight. They're here to watch Wales.
And how are we feeling about that point now against Slovenia on Friday night, with Wales going down to 10, let's remember?
Yeah, I think after the red card, I think a point is really, really valuable away from home. I think before the red card, actually, it's 2 points dropped from Wales. They conceded a really sloppy goal. It was a fantastic response, but we had the better chances. Rhiannon Roberts had a couple of golden opportunities. So actually, on the night, before the red card, they'll have seen it as 3 points.
Well, let's have a little look, shall we, at how Group I, Wales's group, looks at the moment. And Wales are second behind France. France have played one extra match, a result for them early against Kazakhstan, beating them 5-0. It's half-time between Slovenia and Greece. Slovenia 2-1 up, but the main story is that Wales are in second place. Yes, they have 2 wins and 1 draw from their opening 3 games, sitting pretty, as we've just seen, in second place. So in their own words, here's the story of the campaign so far.
I think it's been a very positive start. Like, if you'd ask us what we wanted this time last year, I think we would have probably gone in with this. And I think we're on schedule, to be honest.
Yeah, it was a great start for us, goals as well, just confidence for us, and start off a little bit of momentum going into the next game. The goals were good because we were scored by lots of goal scorers as well, so that always helps. Rollie's rocket was nice, it was really nice. And she, by the way, she does that time and time again in training, so it's not a fluke.
It's one of them childhood moments, you know, you dream of it, then it actually happens. The emotions definitely took over there. I was like a big kid, but I wouldn't change a thing of it. I loved every moment. I love playing for my country, and just scoring just tops it all off. Yeah, I think we deserve to win 6-0. It was a great ball through from Jess, great run from Tash, and yeah, it's just passed into the side of the net. All you want a striker to do, really, isn't it?
We struggled to break them down after that a little bit, but we'll take 1-0, win it away.
It was one of them moments where you just think, let's not let the game get away from us.
For the fact that we equalised that quickly as well after conceding, I think it just shows our character and our togetherness as a group. We'll take a point, especially having 10 men on the field in the end and away to a very good side. I think it will be crucial at the end of the campaign.
Well, let's have a little look then at the team Wales has gone for. No Kaylee Green after that red card on Friday. Rachel Rowe injured. So Wales's record goal scorer Helen Ward comes in up front. Kerry Holland goes to left back and Carrie Jones starts. The promising youngster who plays for Manchester United. And looking at that, Katie, what does it tell us about the way Wales are approaching this one this evening?
I'm really excited to see that front three tonight, especially with the addition of Helen Ward. She offers you something different to Kaylee Green. She'll look for the ball more to feet and bring players into play, but she's our leading goal scorer. She'll be clinical in and around the box, and that's what we need tonight against Estonia.
Yeah, she'd love to add to that tally, wouldn't she? What about Carrie Jones then? A big call, or is she ready? Because apparently Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he's a fan.
I think he needs her in his United side at the minute, especially on the weekend. I don't think it's a big call. I think she's ready. She recently got her first start for Manchester United, and Mark Skinner, her manager there, speaks really highly of her. She brings that little bit of unpredictability on the ball. One thing, like Katie said, that we were lacking against Estonia last time was a little bit of unpredictability, that little bit of creativity and intricacy. This girl has got tremendous balance on the ball. She loves a 1v1 situation, and she can go off both feet. So actually, if there's one player that can get this 5,000 strong crowd on the edge of their seats, it's Carrie Jones tonight.
I think maybe you might be a Liverpool fan after what you just said. Anyway.
I'm an Arsenal fan, so I'm staying out.
There we go. Missed opportunities. We've discussed that already, actually, against Slovenia, but they were there against Kazakhstan, despite that 6-0 scoreline. It's something Wales need to look at. They're creating, but they're not quite finishing it off, are they?
And in previous campaigns, we haven't created as much. So, there has been progress, but we do need to show that more composure around the box. Sometimes we're just not getting over the ball right, or we're just not striking the ball right. And it's just the movement, and it's just our decision making. And I'm hoping we can build on that tonight.
Yeah, we've spoken a lot tonight about that forward line, but actually a lot of it depends on the service that they're given. We know the quality of Fishlock, James and Ingle in the middle, but also Ladd and Evans will have a lot of the ball tonight, because I'm sure Estonia will sit deep. So it's all about how much we can provide those strikers with, but also the off-the-ball movements to actually be dragging these Estonian players around to create some gaps.
Well, look, as the rain is coming down on us, let's hear from the manager. Earlier, Gemma Granger spoke to our reporter, Laura Kenyon.
Gemma, an unbeaten start, but I know some disappointment not to take the 3 points from Slovenia. How do you bounce back from that tonight?
Yeah, unbeaten, like you said, so lots of positives to take. I think Slovenia getting a point away from home is real positive. I think we learned a lot about ourselves on Friday night, and we're hoping to take that into the game tonight, and just really glad to be back at home.
2 changes, 18-year-old Carrie Jones gets her first competitive start. How do you approach this one, and how important is the depth of the squad going to be as we move through the campaign?
Yeah, it's going to be very important. For us, the approach to this game is we want to be better than we were last time. We learned a lot from the game in Estonia. We're expecting another really tough performance in terms of how they will set up. We're expecting them to be defensive, and I think we've got to be patient. We've got to be brave. We've got to put the ball at risk at times, and we've got to really put our identity on the game, and that's going to be the measure for us tonight.
Record ticket sales, how much does that mean to everyone?
Oh, it means so much to the group. Staff and players, we are overwhelmed by the amount of fans that are going to be here tonight, and we just can't wait to see them.
Thank you, good luck.
Thank you.
Gemma Granger looks ready. This stadium looks ready. A bit of Zombie Nation. Katie is tapping her foot beside me. We've got a minute to go before the teams come out. This is a must-win game, Nia, isn't it? Where Estonia are in the world rankings, where Wales are. There's no hiding this evening.
No, and this is the stage that you dream of playing in as a player. Estonia are 105th in the world. They conceded 11 goals against France. So I don't just want to see Wales win tonight. I want to see them win in style.
Katie?
These are the games you have to win. This is where we fell short last time in the campaign. We're home, we're playing the bottom team. We expect to win tonight, and some goals would be great.
Estonia, are they going to bring that bus with them this evening, do you think?
Probably, and it worked against Wales last time. Matakainen, we know, gets the teams really organised. They'll have 2 solid banks of 4 that will frustrate Wales at times. But like we've said, we've got a team of individuals now that are almost nearly all professionals. So I'm looking forward to a really good show from Wales tonight.
Yeah, Katie, they have to watch they don't get too frustrated, Wales, don't they?
No, and that's the key to tonight. They have to stick to the game plan. They have to be patient, but they have to be clinical. That's going to be the difference tonight.
Well, look, it's another big night for Wales as they keep their eye on the prize, a first major tournament. The stadium is ready. The teams are just about to come out to the sound of Zombie Nation. The red wall they're here in their thousands and they're very much looking forward to a spectacle this evening. Here they come then. Let's join our commentary team this evening, Gwennan Harris and Simon Davis.
Thank you, Catherine. What an atmosphere, with a record crowd inside the Cardiff City Stadium for a Wales Women's International. And these fans will be hoping for a record-breaking achievement by this team by reaching the World Cup in 2023. Well, those in charge here at the Cardiff City Stadium have certainly got the crowd going, and they've got Gwennan Harris going as well.
Oh, I absolutely love Zombie Nation, but more than anything, I've got absolute goosebumps just seeing, the record crowd here, how much it means to the players and the staff, of how much the Welsh game has developed over the past few years.
Team news on the way, but first, the national anthems.
Estonia. Please rise for the national anthem of Estonia. Please remain standing for the national anthem of Cymru, the Red Wall, singing loud and proud for them.
A wonderful rendition of the Welsh national anthem, applauded by Gemma Granger. And Gemma Granger has made 2 changes from the Slovenia draw. Kaylee Green's suspension means that Watford's Helen Ward wins cap number 96 up front. Carrie Jones's inclusion sees Kerry Holland switch from left wing to left back. Well, Estonia lost 11-0 to France last Friday. There's one change from that game. Signe Arna comes in for her 95th cap in place of Hilary Sarr. Striker Emma Treiberg is still seeking her first senior goal in international football. The much experienced Helen Ward has scored a record 43 goals for Wales. Tonight she wins her 96th international cap. In contrast, 18-year-old Carrie Jones, highly thought of at Manchester United and certainly impressed off the bench against Kazakhstan and the previous game versus Estonia. Well, after finishing the Slovenia game with 10 players, Gemma Granger has reminded her players for the need for cool heads tonight in these vital qualifying games. There is a real team spirit about this Wales team, unbeaten so far in World Cup qualifying. 61-year-old Jarmo Matikainen, credited by Sophie Ingle this week as bringing proper professionalism to the women's game in Wales during his 4 years as Wales manager. Tonight's match officials are Spanish, led by referee Marta Frias Acedo. Well, more than 5,000 here at the Cardiff City Stadium tonight, hoping for Wales to keep up their unbeaten start in qualifying. Warm applause as players and staff and match officials take the knee, from the Wales side anyway. And Gwennan Harris, surely nothing other than a win will do tonight.
No, you're completely right. Nothing other than that 3 points will do. And I'm sure as well that the players and the management will be really keen to put on a great performance in front of this record crowd.
And Wales on the front foot already through Jess Fishlock. And the first corner within 15 seconds. Wales starting as they mean to go on. Well, one thing we said against Slovenia, Gwennan, is that Wales didn't take their chances when they had them. Let's hope for different tonight. Orders of that back post, Gemma Evans coming in on that back post. Controlled well by Harding. James. Play from Carrie Jones. Well, Estonia were very defensive in this corresponding fixture last month in Pärnu, Gwennan. Do you expect more of the same this evening?
We certainly do, and even the way they've set up, they've actually set up differently this evening. They've now got a 5 at the back with a 4 in front and the 1 lone striker, and expect to not see them get out that, break out the half very often.
Flicked on towards Harding, and it goes out for another Wales throw, which Rhiannon Roberts will take. Rhiannon Roberts, who had 3 headed chances, in fact, against Slovenia. Had it not been for some very good goalkeeping, then she would have got a hat-trick. Roberts looking for Helen Ward in that middle. Keeper does well. Karina Cork keeping hold of the ball. And something tells me that Karina Cork is going to see a lot of the ball tonight. Certainly if Helen Ward has her way.
Well, she certainly did in the last game. You know, Wales had 24 attempts against Estonia last time, 9 of them on target, which goes to show just, you know, the lack of ruthlessness by Wales, accuracy. However, credit to the goalkeeper, Cork, because she did make some very good saves in that game. And we hope she'll be just as busy, but maybe picking the ball out to the net instead of stopping them going in.
Ina Salu to take this throw in right in front of Jarmo Matikainen there in the technical area. The former Wales manager. Header from Roberts. And Roberts has been one of the mainstays, really, of Gemma Granger's short tenure so far as Wales manager.
You could just see from the setup, Simon, here, you know, obviously the left wing back is taking the throw in, but Estonia really not looking, you know, to pose much of a threat attacking-wise. They haven't pushed many bodies forward at all. If Wales can win possession of the ball, they just need to make sure that they're patient with it. They pull Estonia from side to side. First and foremost, you know, just be patient, but that there's a lot of contrast in movements between the players as well, because it's really hard to play against, you know, positions like, and we've seen it already just in that first movement there with Fishlock making the run in behind to try and stretch the defence. That opens up then the space for Helen Ward to actually try to drop deep to come on. So Wales need to ensure that they're doing a lot of that to try and move this low block.
Well, if it is damage limitation for Estonia, it certainly didn't work against France. 11-0 they lost to the favourites in Group I. It's a nice pass from Harding towards Ingle, who's made a useful run, and again Cork coming to collect.
Yeah, and that's better already from the game previously against Estonia. Just those movements from midfield to try and stretch you're running off the shoulder there. They're hard runs to pick up. Sophie Ingle will be really disappointed with a heavy touch there. She knows that she's better with that on both feet.
Not the most convincing of kicks from Cork. They'll still have it through Evans. Looked over by Holland towards Ward, who's closing in on that 100th international cap. Currently 96 this evening. Tremendous servant for international football in Wales. Here's Ingle. Looking forwards. Getting their first Mirasalu. Well, Wales showing attacking intention early on here, Gwenan, and we should remind our viewers that goal difference doesn't necessarily mean the world to Wales. It will if they get to the playoffs, but they need to get there first. It's head-to-head if you finish level on points with another team. Yeah, they need to get there first and foremost, and then actually the results and the goals against the bottom-ranked side, because we're in a group of 6, won't count. And Estonia are the lower-ranked team in the group at the moment. So first and foremost, secure the win, and then look to add the extras. Fishlock going to link up with Harding as they did out in Parnu. And that was an early goal that Wales scored out in Estonia. I think we expected an onslaught after that. It never came. Credit to Jarmo Matakainen side for that. Yeah, and I think, you know, you're showing full respect with the change of system as well. The pitch is a lot bigger. I can remember when I was a player under Jarmo, you know, when opposition sides that were good sides, good passing sides used to come to Wales, he would make sure he made it difficult, and he would find the smallest possible ground in terms of width, in terms of length. And he obviously did that out in Estonia. We've got the luxury of playing on a carpet of the Cardiff City Stadium. It's in fantastic condition. So Wales, as I said, need to just make sure that they're pulling that 5 at the back across, being patient and just moving them out of their positions. But Wales give this bumper crowd something to smile about. Holland has made the run. And the big clearance means a first touch for Laura O'Sullivan, who may not see much of the ball this evening. I certainly hope that will be the case. Ingle. Holland playing as a left back this evening, a position filled in by Esther Morgan against Slovenia. Quite unlucky, Esther Morgan, not to have retained her place, such was her performance. Here's James. Ingle, lovely quick passing from Wales. Fishlock on the run. And Fishlock's given away perhaps a needless free kick there. Gemma Granger has talked about the need for discipline this evening. Yeah, there's no need to go in there, but just in the build-up there, 2 great pieces of play by Wales to try. When you're playing against a low block like this, there's a couple of things that you can try and do to try and, you know, make space for yourself, create chances. And first and foremost is trying to play in the spaces between the units, so in between the back 5 and the midfield 4. Tash Harding, great movement then off her wing into that space to receive the ball, and then quick play then will also help. If you can play 1 touch, 2 touch around those players and around that defence, it's really difficult for them. Lovely pass from Ladd to Harding. Fishlock's made the run. Fishlock looking for James, and an applause from both James and Harding towards Jess Fishlock there. Well, it all came from Hayley Ladd's crossfield pass. That could be an outlet for Wales. Here's Ladd again. Just pinged with such confidence there. And then Fishlock's eventual ball in was towards Ellie Ward there. Wales are threatening Gwenna. Yeah, they are. You know, great play by Fishlock then. Out of Helen Ward is Wales' record top goal scorer, male or female, 43 goals. And I'd like to see the stat actually on how many of those goals have actually been assisted by Fishlock, because they have got a really good understanding. You could see them trying to link up there, Fishlock dropping into that space and just trying to slide it through. Harding. James looking for the run of Rhiannon Roberts. It's a nice back heel. Estonia have set their stall out from the very first minute. I wonder, is it the right way to play football? Critics will say it's perhaps a bit too negative. Mourinho might disagree with you. Mourinho loved playing this style of football and playing on the counter-attack.
sometimes you've just got to do what's is your strength. And let's not forget, Estonia have got 5 to 6 players out of their start 11 that played against Wales last time. They're a lot weaker.
Ingle, lovely touch, and it's spilt by the goalkeeper. Harding couldn't put it in. In fact, it was a good piece of defending and out for the corner, but Harding feels that she should have scored.
Yeah, she probably should have done better. But good play. This is what I'm saying about the fast play. 1 touch, 2 touch. Ingle knew that the players were coming across, dragged it back, and then, to be fair, I think it was actually quite good defended. But it's good play by Tash Harding. Good forward play to be. Yeah, it's good defending there, but good forward play to be actually gambling and running in on those shots.
James's corner floated towards that back post, and Roberts was always climbing, as she did against Slovenia. There's a real aerial presence in that box.
I'd just like to see her start to run a little bit deeper there so she can run onto the ball. You know, the quality of the deliveries by Angela James against Slovenia was superb, because we were quite critical, weren't we, in the Estonia game away. There was a lot of balls to the front post, weren't beating that first defender. Far better in the last game, but I'd just like to see Rhiannon Roberts hold her run, start from deeper so she can run onto it and attack the ball.
Holland towards Fishlock. Harry Jones continues her run, but it's now Ingle towards Jones. Well, I think it ran out, but officials didn't see that. It did appear that went behind, but Harry Jones, so highly thought of, and I think a player that certainly excites you, Gwenan.
Oh, she certainly does. I'm so pleased to see her get another start. I thought on her first start against Scotland, she was the best player on the pitch. In and out of possession as well, and she's so direct. And you know, obviously I'm a little bit biased because I was a forward, but I love to see players confident, driving at players, and she can go with both feet as well.
Harding again trying to feed it through on that channel, this time to James. Still in, and Ward is onside. Well, it caught everyone by surprise, including the Estonia defence. Holland. Well, Helen Ward, from that sort of range, you usually bet your house on her putting it in the back of the net.
I'm absolutely gobsmacked she's missed that. As you said, you know, you'd put any money on her out of everybody to convert that.
Ward behind the Estonian defence. Touch out towards Roberts. Holland. Cross towards Harding. It's another corner, and Estonia have looked shaky. Wales are close to taking the lead, but like against Slovenia, it's all about taking those chances.
Yeah, and we see this again here. You know, Tash Harding plays, and Helen, I'm unsure why she's gone with, tried to go with the outside of the foot there. She just needs to let that come across her body and use her left foot. She's just as adept with her left as she is her right, and she'll definitely, that'll be replaying in her mind now. She'll be determined to make up for that missed chance.
Another chance from Harry James with the delivery here. The trajectory sits up nicely for Roberts, just over her head though. Holland keeps it in. Well, Wales have absolutely pegged Estonia back here. We expected to see this, but with 12 minutes, Wales could have scored 2 or 3 perhaps. Ingle. Oh, almost a delightful through ball to Helen Ward. It is a joy to watch at times, Sophie Ingle, as Gemma Evans takes her time in the Wales half. You just feel that a Wales goal would lift this crowd as well. A record crowd inside the Cardiff City Stadium. Absolutely terrific, isn't it, to see over 5,000 inside this ground for a Wales women's game.
Yeah, and credit's got to go there as well. Obviously with the players and the management, but the team behind the team, you know, the media staff, the parity that's been given, you know, on social media has been superb. In this camp, it's so visible now for these youngsters that are in the crowd, maybe watching at home, and you know, they're certainly inspiring on the pitch, but off the pitch as well. And it's down to their hard work that making it visible that these numbers and definitely the interest in women's football has risen through the roof in Wales.
And this bumper crowd, the 12th player for Wales. Roberts. Harding, seen a lot of the ball on this near side. Wales opting to be patient. Ladd. Looks for Harding. A bit too heavy with the pass there for a player who we know can ping that ball anywhere on the pitch.
Yeah, well, both centre-halves are very, very comfortable. Hayley Ladd obviously with her right foot, and then Gemma Evans with her left. And it was the right idea, just too much weight on it on the pass. I just sometimes like to see the full-backs be a bit more adventurous. I think, you know, again, when you're playing against a back five or a low block, if you can push those outside wingers in a little bit just to vacate that space, you've then got space for your full-backs to bomb on into. And I'd just like to see both of them, so Kerry Holland and Rhiannon Roberts, just be a little bit more positive to join in and a bit quicker joining in.
Miracello is leaving this to Lear. And it will go long. Estonia have not scored in this qualifying campaign yet. Good play from Jones. Oh, great footwork. Roberts. Early cross looking for Ward. Holland could get on the end of this, but it is a goal kick. Thumbs up from Helen Ward. The idea was there.
Yeah, you can just see, you know, she's pulled off that centre. She's so experienced. You know, movement in and around the box is superb. You can just see how, you know, the tempo of the Wales team, just how high they're pressing. Just try and win possession of the ball back.
2008, the first cap for Helen Ward. Again against Luxembourg.
I remember it well. But we were very pleased when she decided to come across to Wales, and 43 goals later we're just buzzing.
The start of an era as Ingle trying to get the cross in here. Holland could get the end of it with competitive nature over on that Wales left with Holland. Now Gemma Evans supporting her. Wales got a lot of room. And after a high-tempo start, it's the patient stuff now from Wales.
Yeah, it just needs those contrasting movements, as I said previously. Sometimes you have to make a run knowing that you're not going to get on the ball.
Well, how about this for a later score? Slovenia 3-1 up against Greece. That would suggest that it is a battle for second for Wales. Of course, they've still got to play France, who beat Kazakhstan 5-0. That is a result from earlier today. Wales and Slovenia, it could be a real contest for second place. Long way to go, though, Gwenno.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's only the fourth game in a group of 10 games. So, as I said, just need to be patient.
Harding looks towards. Hold up play from Ward. Well, she's happy to have the corner.
To be fair, she did very well there. She received possession of the ball. She did well to hold it up. Just needs more movements around her then. Look, apart from Harding, nobody is making a move to help her.
Quickly to Jones. Ingle with the shot. Spilt by the goalkeeper. Well, Sophie Ingle with her left foot this time. James's cross could reach Carrie Jones. It's a real mess for Estonia. Can Wales take advantage? Well, Estonia anywhere will do for them, but it was Sophie Ingle who absolutely leathered it with that left foot of hers. And that's her wrong foot, if she does have a wrong foot.
She certainly doesn't. The goals that she scored for Chelsea with her left foot are absolutely phenomenal. And actually speaking to her, she says she'd rather shoot with her left than her, some people would say, stronger right, but you know, she's probably been the biggest threat with her shots from distance so far. I think she's had three attempts on target.
And it's a slippery surface out there, the rain really coming down in Cardiff. Holland with a shot from Holland, keeping it well. Slippery ball, but Karina Cork held on to it.
Yeah, you can see it come. And it's just opened up for her. I like that. You know, that attitude. Well, you could. She's a forward-minded player playing at left back this evening, but you want that, especially on this surface. We've seen her already parry one of the shots, and you can see the experience and just the know-how of Helen Ward there. She's sniffing out that chance just in case she does parry the shot.
And in fairness to Karina Kork, tries her trade in Austria, has resisted everything that Wales have pushed at her at the moment, and there's more to come. Well, it's just heavy for Fishlock from Evans's pass. The idea again was there, but it's the execution that needs to improve. Well, these are Wales's fixtures. Greece and France next month, one home, one away. And then from then on in, another game against the French, Kazakhstan, Greece away, Slovenia at home. Could be massive. Holland scored one of the goals against Kazakhstan in that 6-0 win. Here's Roberts. With the option of Harding to her right, which is going to switch the play here. Holland again. Jones. Evans. Really, lads. Again, you could see that she was tempted to play that ball over the top to Harding. Instead, it's with Fishlock. Holland again. Jones. This is good build-up play from Wales. Fishlock chips it in towards Ward. Harding on the back post. It's another chance.
It's really patient play by Wales. You know, just down the left-hand side, and then the vision again of Fishlock. You know, just that chip pass. She was probably initially looking for Ward, but Harding's reading it. She's made a great run to the back post, but it's just hard to judge the height on that.
Great distribution from Fishlock of OL Reign. Has played in 8 different countries in her career. Harding, former teammate at Reading, still with Harding, still going. Decent attempts, not too far away, but not near enough.
No, good play again by Harding. It just opened up for her, you know, just the initial strength to get past, and then you can see the defence. You can see them backing off. Armour, you know, she's very experienced, 95th cap. More of a forward more than anything, but she's backing right off, so the space opened up for Harding, but just the way that the ball and the Armour defensively was set up, it was difficult for her just to try and get her body to get that on target. She may have been better off just shifting it quickly onto her left foot where the goal was more open for her.
You notice she's sporting that headband after that injury she picked up while playing for Reading. Let's bring in Katie Sherwood, one of our studio guests. Katie, what have you made of this opening 20 minutes?
I think it's been a real bright start from Wales. They've been playing very patient. Even though Estonia are playing with the low block, we're stretching them. Those forward runs from Fishlock, she's really finding those pockets of space. But I'd like to see us gamble a little bit more on the keeper. You know, she's spilt a couple. It's a wet night. Can our forwards just be on the front foot, gambling on those mistakes? And, you know, Sophie Ingle, I have to shout out to Sophie. She's been pivotal in what we're doing at the moment. She's really dictating the play and getting forward. And like Gwen said, you know, she can shoot from either foot. And I think we're going to see more of that this evening.
It's a rare touch for Estonia here. Ward winning it back. Ingle over the top. And this is one for Carrie Jones to try and get on the end of. Well, it was good play. In the end from Oraf, shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah, and that's probably the part of the game that, you know, will develop with her. She's only just turned 18. You know, she will get stronger.
Ward. Quick pass to James. Ward in a deeper position than perhaps she would have liked. She's in the box now. Holland towards Wards. You can't keep your eyes off Helen Ward in that position. Tremendous forward play and great movement.
Well, she actually started the movement outside the box, patient with it. You know, and the Kerry, I initially thought she missed the opportunity to cross it first time, but she bowed it out very well. Helen Ward then with the experience run across the front post. She'll actually be disappointed. She's maybe gone a little bit too far there. because obviously the angle's gone against her. But knowing Helen, she'll be disappointed to have missed that as well, because she's got such high standards of herself, and she knows that she needs to hit the target. You know, work the goalkeeper.
Wales have worked the goalkeeper on a few occasions, but patience was always going to be key. I think Gemma Granger knew that going into this game, judging from the last match in Parnu. James. Ingle. A bit short for Harding. Getting there first was Mirasalu. But there's no outlet at all for Estonia every time the ball goes in that Wales half.
But they're not looking for an outlet, because the one time the ball was played up there, Treyberg, the centre forward, number 23, she had no interest in going for it. She just ran back into his shape. So obviously, you know, they've come to play for a point and nothing more. And it's difficult to play against, and there's a lot of nations that are playing like this now. But it actually goes to show just how far Wales have come. That, you know, maybe 10 years ago teams wouldn't play like this against Wales, and it was Wales that were playing quite similarly against the Germanys and Chinas and teams like that. Just goes to show, you know, you've got to take confidence from that.
Yeah, maybe it is a sign of respect to this developing Wales team. Holland looking for James, and a heavy touch to Cork, the goalkeeper. Would a goal just settle everything down from a Welsh point of view? I'm not saying there's a lot of anxiety or nerves out there, but a goal would certainly lift this crowd.
Yeah, look, I think they'll be trying to be patient, but the more that time is going on in front of a record crowd, they'll be very aware that, you know, time is building, and they still haven't got that elusive goal, and as well knowing what happened out in Estonia. So I think you will have a little bit of nerves about it, but it's just about keeping your head in those situations when you're in front of goal. Don't snatch at the opportunities. You have to ensure that you're clinical, you're composed, so you take your time, and instead of, you know, as I said, snatching at them, you're passing the ball into the corner, or drilling the ball into a corner like you would do in training.
See Jarmo Matikainen there, former Wales manager. Don't mind parking the bus tonight, he's parking the train at the moment.
And the aeroplane.
It's up to Wales, though, to ask the questions. What can Gemma Evans do here? Fishlock, almost through to Ingle, who's inching towards that penalty area, which is where Helen Ward is at the moment. Ingle can bring it down. This wet surface, Harding. Nice play to Ingle. James has continued her run. Here is James. She's offside. And that is the only goal. Wales had to be patient. And they found the breakthrough through Anhara James. Her third international goal. Lovely play.
That is great play from Wales. As I said, patience in possession, moving Estonia from side to side, and then when they needed to, one touch, two touch football here. You just see a great run from here. It's so hard to track those runs. She does really well actually to run across to time it, and as I just mentioned about being composed, you know, instead of just snatching at the shot, she takes her time. It's a great first touch, opens up her body, and then she just finds the corner.
Ingle's pass and the finish from Anhara James.
I spoke to her and Sophie Ingle this morning, and I backed the wrong person to score, because I said I thought Sophie Ingle was going to score first today, and she's come close. But no, it's great. You know, Anhara James hasn't scored many goals for her country, and it's an area of the game that she's definitely been trying to work on and improve on, because she's more than good enough too, and she's shown that in the way she's taken that chance.
Recently started a new life in North America, in North Carolina, playing for the Courage. A wonderful life opportunity as well as a career one. And she will be delighted. You could see on her face how pleased she was.
Yeah, and I think sometimes, you know, she doesn't get the credit she deserves. A lot of players, you know, and people think that she's very defence-minded. She just sits in front of the back four, and she can do that role really, really well. But I think she's a real box-to-box midfielder. She's got the capabilities to defend well, but also to join in and attack. And the timing of the run off the ball first and foremost, and then to make sure she bent that run to stay onside, was sublime.
James. And It's a heavy touch there from James, who, as you say, Gwennon has always wanted to add goals as well to her game, her midfield game.
Yeah, and as I said, she's always been looked at as a defensive-minded player, but she's got more than that. She's a real box-to-box player. She sets the tempo for us. I thought she was outstanding, probably Wales' best player against Slovenia as well. And she's adding now these moves, because she's being allowed the freedom to make those forward runs now in this new system under Gemma Granger. We're seeing the benefits of that. Even sometimes when she doesn't get on the end of the ball, she's creating space for others. This time, as I said, the timing of the run and then just the composure on the finish.
It's Kristina Banakova, the captain for Estonia, with a rare free kick for the away side here. And then it goes towards Laura O'Sullivan. First test for her. And I think Wales will be happy to see a quiet evening for Laura O'Sullivan. Roberts. Trying to find Natasha Harding there.
It's interesting to see. I was trying to have a look, to see if Estonia have actually changed shape now. Now they've conceded, but no, they're still set on 5 on the back, 5 at the back, 4 across midfield, and then the 1. But what they are, they're releasing one of those 5 players to actually join in when they do get a little bit further forward.
Sullivan playing it to Evans, could be caught out here. Well, it was Kubasova who almost caught Wales out there, and it's turned into an attack for Jones. That was something that Wales could have done without, as Holland concedes the throw. Good commitment, it should be said, from Kubasova. It was a heavy pass from O'Sullivan to Gemma Evans.
It actually works well in Wales' favour then, because we were able to get Carrie Jones on the ball in a real one-on-one situation. She's been bogged down a little bit when she has had the ball. She's had 2 against her. I just love to see her be a bit more confident there on her left foot when she's driven around the outside. Carry on.
Well, the importance for concentration is paramount in World Cup qualifying. Thankfully, it came to nothing for Estonia. Fishlock. Looking for the run of Holland. Almost an inch-perfect pass. Goal kick. Let's bring in Nia Jones, and Nia, a wonderful finish that from Anhara James.
Oh, it was. Just, what we spoke about before the game was being composed in front of goal, and when you're a player like Anhara James, like Gwennon said, he's used to breaking up play and being that defensive-minded midfielder. Actually, this system, and under Granger, she's finding herself in these advanced positions more and more. And, Katie Sherwood mentioned the role of Sophie Ingle tonight. She looks up for it, and her movement to pull off the back 4 and actually make that first-time ball around the corner for Anhara James just shows the quality that we've got in this side. And, yeah, brilliant for Wales.
As Ingle plays it towards Harding. Looking for the return pass, possibly. And Wales looking for that second goal. James, who's had a decorated career, played for a number of clubs before. North Carolina Courage, ball in towards Fishlock, headed down towards. Well, unselfish stuff from Fishlock there, but still the danger for Estonia. Holland on that far side, first time cross to Harding. Good first touch. Harding tries it again, straight at Cork.
A good initial play there by Tash Harding. Just faking it and cutting back inside, faking the cross there, cutting back inside. And I know she had the time to bend that, to try and bend it, open up the body, try and bend it. Well, she's more than good enough on her left foot. She had a sublime finish in the first game against Kazakhstan. Again, I'd just like to see her have the confidence there, because shoot back across goal then, and that's when your forward players, then your forward-minded players, your Helen Ward, your Carrie Jones on the opposite side should be busting to get to make the run across on the back post in case it's not on target.
Jones, who's switched wings here, has found Ingle. Fishlock, who's got room, it's worth the shots. Took a deflection. Well, she is capable from that range, we all know that.
More than capable. If anyone's seen, you know, the goals reel just from this season alone for OL Reign, you'd see the absolute screamers that she scored. And you want that. You want players like her in those positions with a bit of space in front of them, so that they can have a drive at goal. Then you obviously want your forward players, as we said before, just following in just in case the keeper parries.
James's corner, not cleared away by Estonia, could fall to Holland. Back out to James here. An inviting cross. Roberts not getting on the end of that. And eventually back to the goalkeeper, Ward putting pressure on. Well, Estonia not clearing their lines, and Wales almost making them pay. James. Jones likes to take on full backs, and it's interesting that we've seen an exchange of wide players, if you want, with Jones coming over to this right-hand side.
Yeah, you need that though. You need that as a forward player, especially if you're not having much joy on the other side. And also it's really difficult then for the wing backs to have to deal against someone that's a little bit different.
Fishlock finds James, the goal scorer. Holland. It's opening up for Wales, but can they get a shot on goal? Heavy pass out towards Roberts, bit overhit that from Anhara James.
Good play again though in the build, just one touch, two touch by England James again. I think she's just expecting Rhiannon Roberts to just start making the forward movement, but actually she's in a position there where she should be receiving that ball to her feet.
Ball clearance from Salu. And Wales will look to advance on this lead. Of course, it's the points that matter at this stage. Just to keep in touch with those above them, France and Slovenia as well. Evans, Ladd. Still going, Hayley Ladd. Roberts on this Wales right. Sliding tackle, it is another corner. I think Roberts invited the challenge there from Banakova. Wales opting off for a short one here, and we've seen some good delivery so far from Anhara James. Well, they have gone short. Carrie Jones with the cross. Roberts swung her right foot at it and had that connected. Another test for Cork. Holland, lovely play. Harding for 2-0. It should be 2-0. Evans put it wide. Well, I think Tash Harding was caught in two minds about a cross or a shot, and both Carrie Jones and Gemma Evans almost turned it in.
Yeah, they're getting each other's mind here. Again, I initially thought was the pass on earlier. And then, you know, Gemma Evans has come on to, and that, you know, she's got to do better. It's just plain and simple as that. She's 2 yards out. She's got an open goal.
Well, the way that Harding opened her body, I think, were you thinking that she was trying to bend it into that far corner?
Yeah, I was initially, but as I said a couple of minutes ago about her trying to aim for that back post, with then your forward players making the run to the back post in case it's going wide, and that's what we saw. Carrie Jones this time, good wing play from the other side, getting there. Gemma Evans made a superb run, you know, and she's made the call, she's attacking it, but you know, she's got to head that down as well. Just make a proper connection on it, like we saw with the goal against Kazakhstan. And it's these, you know, it's these little bits now that, you know, Wales, to get to that next level, you've got to be better in these areas. You've got to punish sides, and you've got to do it quickly. You see your Frances, your Spains, your Netherlands, England. You know, once they've got that, once they've got the breakthrough, they open the floodlights or the floodgates. You know, and the next goals are coming. This is where Wales have to get better at.
Well, this is the chance for Harding, Gwenan, and so that was the open. Sorry, that was the through ball to Helen Ward. But as far as Harding's effort was just for a moment he was going to nestle in that corner of the net.
I think it was harder not to be totally honest.
Gemma Evans, one of the scorers against Kazakhstan. She booked in that game as well. Roberts. And here is Evans. Ingle is pushing further forward here, but the option is on for Carrie Jones. Look for Roberts. Wales throw. Well, they frustrate you, Estonia. Merisalu this occasion with the intercept. But Jones is away. That's a great cross in towards Wards. Well, she's appealing for the corner. She gets it.
And she thrives on type of balls like that, Helen Ward. Those quick ones, the quick deliveries across. She's made again that movement to the front post. Just this time she was followed. So that quick delivery here.
Carrie Jones did well to muster up a cross there out of nothing, it seemed. And it's yet another Anhara James corner. A slower delivery this time. Well, Cork wasn't quite sure where that was going, and it's still in. And it's with Kerry Holland. Across towards Jones and Roberts, who had the diving header in the end.
Yeah, it was actually a miscommunication. I think probably the better player to be taking this on is Carrie Jones. You just see number 20, the movement coming onto it. She obviously had the call, and that's why, you know, she stayed out for about. Maybe because she's quite new into the team, she's quite young, she's quite a shy individual as well.
Carrie Jones, as Katrin was saying, highly thought of at Old Trafford. And word has it Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's favourite player in the women's team as well.
Well, Carrie used to play with her daughter, Solskjaer's daughter.
And she almost keeps the ball in play. 18 years of age. Such a talent, and Gemma Granger certainly not adverse to putting the youth in, as we saw against Slovenia with Esther Morgan at left back.
Yeah, and she's actually quite unlucky not to start today. I thought she was up there with Anhara James as one of Wales' best players. I thought she was superb, to be fair. But obviously Kerry Holland obviously offers that just a little bit more of an attacking prowess coming down from left wing to left back there. Obviously missing Rachel Rowe as well, the Reading player, who's got a hamstring injury and is, you know, a big miss. We've seen that from the first couple of games. But what's different about this Welsh squad now is there's more depth there. You look to the bench and you can see, you know, there's a variety of options that arguably wasn't there 5 years ago.
A foul throw that, I thought, from Mirisalu. The referee said it was okay. Roberts to Evans. Ingle dropping deep this time. Holland to Harding. It's the beating of the fullback, Orav. But missed his out in the end. The Reading player. Roberts to Carrie Jones. He's just trying to rush it at the moment. Get back to that patient build-up that we saw prelude to the goal.
Yeah, you need a balance, Simon. So you need patience, but you also want quick tempo with your play to drag players out quickly. You know, if you're slow with possession, you know, it gives obviously the opposition then time just to get back into the shape. So if you've dragged someone out and it's created a gap, if you're slow with the possession, it gives them time to get back and set.
Ladd, left-footed cross this time. It was well read in the end by Lear. The attempted pass to Fishlock. It has found its way to Roberts. That is a good cross. An inviting one for Harding. Holland could keep it in here, but it was from a standing position, that cross round, and Roberts got real power and whip on it.
It was her first touch that makes it. You know, as it comes across to her, the first touch just out of her feet, so that obviously the second one can be straight into a cross then. And we know she's got good delivery on her. She was superb in the Euro qualifying campaign under Jane Ludlow, very consistent. She's having a good season for Liverpool as well, as is Kerry Holland.
Can Wales lift this crowd further? And these youngsters in the crowd watching their heroes. Well, Jones trying to get round Mirasalu there. Clear free kick. She does like to take on players, Gary Jones.
Yeah, and it's great to see. You know, there's no fear when you're that age. And as I said, she can go off either foot, and she's really positive. You know,
Jones is calling for it here from James. It's a packed penalty area. The chance for someone like Rhiannon Roberts to get on the end of this, surely. As we approach the 45 minutes. Can Wales get a second? James's cross could fall to Ingle. Evans. Heavy cross in towards Wards. She's getting closer.
Oh, it's a good delivery. Gemma Evans is the only natural left footer in the squad.
And that is the half-time whistle. No time for additional time. And Wales are winning. That's the most important thing. Thanks to Ann James. A cool finish after some patient build-up play. Ingle turned provider for the midfielder. Seen chances as well for the likes of Natasha Harding. And Carrie Jones has been a threat as well on that Wales wing. But Wales have to take their chances. We said that against Slovenia, and we're saying it again tonight. It's half-time, and it's Wales 1, Estonia 0. It's a nice pass from Harding. It was Ingle. And Ward is onside. The shot from Holland. Here's James, and that is the opening goal. Wales had to be patient. Harding for 2-0.
So Wales have the lead thanks to that Angharad James goal, but I wonder, could it have been 2, maybe 3-0 at half-time? They've had so many opportunities. Let's get the thoughts of Nia and Katie. Happy with that first 45 minutes? You know, they've got the goal that they needed, and they seem very comfortable at the moment, Katie.
Wales are playing really good football. It's patient play. We're playing against a very low block, and, you know, there's 9 players, 10 players at times behind the ball. So I think going in at 1-0 at half-time, I think Gemma will be happy.
Yeah, and it's what we expected from Estonia. It's what we hoped for from Wales.
Yeah, slightly different to the last time that they played each other. Estonia have gone with a back 5. It's not really given them any extra security. But like Katie said, I think we've been much more inventive with the ball today. We're not staring at options, waiting for things to open up. If there's nothing on forward, we're recycling the play nicely. And yeah, there's been some really good opportunities for Wales. They'll be pleased at half-time.
Yeah, they set the tone, didn't they? Winning a corner after 15 seconds. We knew we were in for an exciting night, and there have been so many opportunities. I think I've lost count, but they've missed a lot of them as well.
Yeah, but they're creating these opportunities. Really good combination plays around the box, and what's most pleasing is there's a variety of players getting on the end, making those runs.
And the chances that we created tonight have come from people doing something different. So it's not just can we get the ball out wide and get a cross in. It's come from a deft Jess Fishlock chip. It's come from Natasha Harding trying to link up and play a 1-2. It's come from Wales trying to be a lot cuter than they were last time out against Estonia, and it's working because it's dragging players out of positions, and it makes it really hard to mark when the forward players and midfield players are interchanging like Wales are.
Yeah, it's refreshing to see so many players get involved. One player very much getting involved is Helen Ward, in for Kaylee Green, that red card we mentioned on Friday night. How is she slotting in?
I think she's done everything right apart from put the ball in the back of the net. You know, she's a very intelligent forward player, and her forward play has been very good. She just hasn't made the right connections. So her runs into the box, you know, her movement in and around the box to get in the box, it's a defender's nightmare, but it's just making those connections.
Yeah, she was the only one to stay alive to that there. Everybody was asleep, all the Estonian backline were asleep, but This is what I really like, is actually she's always alert. Gwennan said it, she's sniffing out any opportunity. We call her the fox in the box in training, and she's just waiting for it. I like this one though. She's drifted into midfield, she's getting involved. Once she offloads it here, she's not content. She knows she wants to get on the score sheet like she has 43 other times for Wales. She has to get herself in that 6-yard box. She'd be disappointed with that header at the end. It wasn't the most easy of chances, but with somebody with her record, we'd have expected better.
I love that, fox in the box. I wonder what they used to call you. We'll keep that for later. Right, the
Ball
goal
in a China shop, I think.
The goal, it did come eventually, and boy oh boy, the crowd wanted it, we wanted it. Angharad James, she was busy against Slovenia on Friday, and she's been busy again this evening.
You know, we've said about Angharad James, this is the only thing she's really missing from her game is goals, but you know, she does so well in this opportunity. One, the run into the box, she bends her run to stay on side, but the composure just to pass the ball into the back of the net, and that's what we've missed in previous games.
Yeah, do you know what I love about this is Sophie Ingall's role. The way she peels off, but knows that Angharad James has made that run. First time ball round the corner, that is top quality, and that's exactly what Gwennan Harris was saying in commentary. Those contrasting movements to pull apart this Estonian defence is exactly what Wales need to do.
Yeah, I know you've been very impressed by Sophie Ingall. Well, look, we're going to have some more reaction now, and just before we do so, let's have a look at the parade happening around the ground at the moment. Some of the past players on the 201st official game for Wales women. It's quite the evening, and as we watch those pictures, let's go over to Laura, who's got some company.
Thanks, Catherine. Yes, I have someone with me who's got more than a few goals to her name. Wales and Brighton striker Kaylee Green. Kaylee, not available for selection today, but I'm sure you've been part of the preparations and the build-up to this one. What's your role been like as a senior player?
Yeah, you know what, it's unfortunate that I can't play, but I just have to be a leader, you know, off the pitch and just help every single player and use my experience. And, you know, we have some young players, and yeah, as long as I can be a part and, you know, I can give them some of my knowledge as a centre forward and what I see, then yeah, that's the most important role for me to do today.
What are your thoughts on that first half? I know they had to be patient for that goal, a similar situation to the away leg.
You know, they're a hard team, you know, they're defensively, they're compact, it's hard, you know, we have to be patient. If one thing that they'll probably be saying in that changing rooms is to play quicker. You know, we're finding the pockets, we're getting the ball out wide, but if it can be done quicker, I'm sure that we'll punish them and get more goals.
There we go, play quicker, more goals. Is that kind of your message for the second half then?
Yeah, the girls will know what they have to do. There's a lot of experienced players, and like I say, you know, if they move the ball a lot quicker, they'll create pockets, you know. So yeah, once, you know, Angharad James, you can see her, she's in the pocket. If we can see that a lot quicker, I think we can threaten that back line and get goals.
Kaylee, thank you very much indeed.
No worries, thank you.
Yeah, good to see Kaylee there. Well, let's bring you right up to date with some of the other scores this evening from the action in Group I, Wales's group, of course. Slovenia, it's a result 4-1 against Greece. France, earlier they battered Kazakhstan 5-0, and as you can see, that Wales-Estonia is a half-time score. England, well, they thrashed Latvia as well in their group, Group D. And their other two members of Group D, it's Northern Ireland against Austria, and a good goal there for Austria. 2-1 that score, a latest for you there. Right then, let's react a bit to those scores, and that France, Kazakhstan, it's what we expected really from France. They're the group favourites, aren't they, Dia?
Yeah, absolutely, and they've stamped their authority in this group. I know we looked at that result against Slovenia and thought, oh, are they that good? For them to stick 11 on this Estonian side, I think tells us all we need to know about the quality they have. And actually, it really shows that every point's important for Wales, because it probably is that playoff spot that they're really targeting.
Yeah, Slovenia, Greece, that's an interesting one for Wales as well. They'll be pushing for that second spot as well. Well, as I've already mentioned, this evening is the 201st official match for Wales women. And boy, oh boy, have we come a long way since that first match back in 1993 against Iceland. And for those who fought for equality and status, this squad, the present-day squad, well, they are forever grateful. And everybody, well, they have their heroes.
My role model growing up was Lauren Dykes. She was very inspirational to me, like her work rate, her professionalism, like everything. Yeah, like she's my role model. Weirdly, when I was at Bristol, she ended up being my car buddy. and we used to share lifts and stuff, and I remember the first time I got in the car and I was like, whoa, like, Lauren Dykes is driving me to training. But yeah, we're really good friends now, and I'll still look up to her to this day. She's an amazing person and a great person to look up to.
Jess Fishlock is absolutely unreal. I have never known anyone that can run with the ball like Jess can. In training this week, I've just been mind-blown. Unbelievable player. Like, I think she's got more in her legs than I have, to be honest. She runs rings around everyone.
I always wanted to play for Wales. I wasn't able to kind of see it because it was never promoted on TV, and hopefully now we can demonstrate to the younger generation and the younger girls coming through that they actually do have proper role models that they can look up to, and hopefully they can take our shirts as well soon.
Yes, everybody has their hero, and so many heroes here this evening. Those who have worn the red of Wales in the past, the celebration of how far the sport has come, and what a crowd to welcome them to the field. Over 5,000 fans, a number many of these here this evening could only have dreamt of 30 years ago when they were fighting for equality and recognition for the sport they loved. And I think a few of those on that parade are joining Laura now.
Yeah, I'm gate crashing this wonderful parade because I have a guest with me, a pioneer, one of the players who was part of that first game back in 1993.
Yes.
Sue Young. Sue, I mean, talk to me about how much things have changed since back then.
Oh, it's massively changed. The girls being professional, you know, full time. That's huge, isn't it? Because I had a full-time job, and then training and playing and giving up free time. Had to give up holidays to go and to play for Wales.
Record ticket sales today as well, and I can barely hear myself because of the crowd behind me. It's quite something. How amazing is it to have this level of support now?
It's absolutely fantastic. It's great that everyone's coming out in their droves. It's great for the younger generation now to have role models and to know that there were girls before them that played, and now this, you know, playing at the Cardiff City Stadium is fantastic.
What have you made of things tonight and how the girls are playing? I know the ambition is a first major finals. Can they do it?
I think so, yes. They're on track, aren't they? Another couple of goals now would be great. But yeah, they're ahead and they need to keep on top now.
Sue, thank you very much. I'll let you get back to the parade.
Thank you.
Well, a couple of things to say. Firstly, that shirt, we are all standing here very, very jealous. Did you ever wear anything like that?
Only for bed now. I'd wear that now, I reckon. No, that's a little bit before our time, but love the retro kits.
Yeah, love those kits. It's lovely to see here. And as that parade was going around as well, the names of all the players who have represented Wales have been shown on the big screen, and Nia and Katie were trying to see their own names up in lights as well. Nia, do you remember your debut, and how have things changed since you were there? It's not that long ago, is it?
It was 2010, I think. I mean, the fact there's 5,000 people here, I think there's about 100 people at my debut, and half of them were probably my friends and family. It was up at Kevin Druids. It was an 8-1 win against Bulgaria.
And you scored?
I did. I wasn't going to mention it, Kat, but you mentioned it.
Well,
so.
Look, we can show you the goal as well.
No way. I've never seen it, you know, if we have. Are we?
Do you know what? It's not your goal. I'm sorry. It's a goal.
But actually that shows, you know, now you put Twitter on and you see every goal. You see everything to do with the Wales national squad. The fact that I've never even seen the footage from that game shows you how far the game has come. And, you know, 201st game, 201st game, but actually it took too long probably to get here. I was talking to Kath Morgan. She was Yamo Matakainen's assistant, but also previous Welsh international. She played for over 15 years, and it took her that long to even get 50 caps. They played every other year. You know, they didn't have tournaments in between major qualifying campaigns. They didn't have friendlies. They barely had training camps. So actually, you know, the fact that we're here now probably should have been there a lot sooner.
Look, we're going to go up and join Gwenan Harris, who's part of our commentary team this evening. Gwenan, I'm sure you've got some kits and some goals you can reminisce about. But let's talk about the game and your thoughts on that first half and what Wales need to do in the second half to make it a little more comfortable, maybe. Yeah,
really pleasing. You know, I think the girls said the same in terms of just playing a little bit quicker. I think the difference for me from this game compared to the last game is actually the positions of the midfielders. So you see Angharad James, Sophie Ingle, at times they're joining up with Helen Ward, Jess Fishlock up against the back line because Hayley Ladd has been able to bring the ball out. more of the same in terms of that, just those forward runs from midfield. And again, I'd just like to see the full-backs join in a little bit quicker, because obviously Estonia have only got the one up front and they're not really pushing her forward either. So just more players in those more advanced positions playing a little bit quicker. And I think, you know, once we get that second goal, we'll get a lot more then.
Once we get the second goal, I love the confidence, Gwen, and thank you very much. The bench. Wales now have a bit of depth. We've already mentioned it. People like Megan Wynne. Do you think Gemma Granger will empty that bench? Because she's been reluctant to do so, maybe because they have been quite close the last 2 games?
She has such a luxury now of, you know, she has so many different players she can choose from. I think another goal would settle it, and then we may see the introduction of those younger players who need this experience playing in these games.
Anybody you'd like to see come on?
I'd love to see Megan Wynne come on. I think it's the ideal game for her. She brings speed, she attacks 1v1 situations, and she's got a great delivery into the box as well.
Ladies, thank you very much for your comments, and they look ready to go for the second half. Can Wales add to that 1-0 lead they have, and can they add another 3 points to their tally this evening in their group? They would love to do so. Let's hand back to our commentary team this evening, standing by Gwen Harris and Simon Davis.
Thanks very much, Catherine. Yeah, it's the points are the most important thing for Wales. And as things stand, 3 points coming Gemma Granger's way. But they've got to be disciplined, Gwenan. Wales have to be patient as well, as we said in the first half.
Yeah, certainly. You know, we've seen a couple of challenges where, you know, this is the type of game that, even though, you know, it's an international and every international poses its own threats and problems, you don't want to be picking up silly yellow cards in a game like this, leading into, obviously, the next block of qualifiers, which are Greece and France.
Yeah, 2 big games, but it's up to Wales to get the job done tonight. Lads. A few good long balls in that first half. Harding, who certainly came close to scoring, and so did Helen Ward to James offside. Well, the assistant had a very good referee, had a very good view of Anhara James's run there.
She was off. She was half a yard off. Yeah, you just seen she just made the run a little bit more than half a yard. Just made the run a little bit earlier. But as I mentioned at half time, you know, the starting positions of her and Sophie Ingle now a lot higher up, opening up little bits of space for us to play off.
It's got a feeling of a night of celebration for the women's game in Wales. Can Wales get the result fitting of that celebration? Harry Jones tackled there for the first time this half by Orav. Catherine mentioned the Wales bench as well. There's plenty of talent on it, and there's plenty of time for those subs to be utilised as well. Here's Roberts. Hoping not to go wide. Goes to the middle, towards 2-0. Wales is record goal scorer. Just loves scoring for her country. And it's 2-0 to Wales. Goal number 44 in Helen Ward's international career.
She lives off balls like that, you know, deliveries, assists like that. That is an absolutely perfectly weighted pass into her from Rhiannon Roberts. The space had opened up because of the movement. Again, Sophie Ingle integral to that, just playing in that advanced role, just opening up the space, and then you can see just the timing of the run by Helen Ward. She's ready, she's waiting for it, and she's not going to miss. She's missed 1 or 2, she's not going to miss one like that.
The movement was exquisite. And so was the finish. And the biggest cheer of the night so far for Helen Ward.
Yeah, you know, 44 goals for your country, you know that takes a lot to beat. Obviously, she's in the high 90s of the caps, but she just knows in those situations, she just knows where the goalkeeper is. And as we said before, just composure then, just to pass the ball. She actually went for the inside post, the near post. You see a lot of players go for the far post. She's seen the gap. She kept it nice and low, just hard for the goalkeeper.
She may get another one here. Just trying to heel it past the defender's lidness there. And Helen thought that she'd won a corner. Not happy about that decision. Strikers are greedy for goals.
Yeah, you can just see she's living off that last you know, that last player there, and just contrasted movement, actually feigned to go back, and then as soon as she's done that, just that movement in front, then it was good forward play to create space for herself.
Rusova, the clearance only as far as Ingle. Now that second goal has come Wales' way. Will things open up further here? Fishlock trying to push it through to Jones. Here's Evans. James to Fishlock. Settle Wales down a bit. He's got that 2-goal cushion now, which is a nice cushion to have.
We definitely wanted that second goal, and then to get it so early will definitely be, you know, a real easer for the Welsh girls.
James for 3, Harding. Well, I'm not sure the Estonian back line knew too much about that, but again, it was a through ball that split open the Estonian defence.
Yeah, and you can see Angharad James again. What's been great about Wales today is just the pace and the quality on that final ball, because we tend to lack with that. You know, we either the decision making is wrong, or the pace of the pass is too hard. But it's so perfectly weighted there, and you could see Natasha Harding is just trying to poke it through. Cork's legs couldn't quite get on the end of it, and she's so dangerous, Natasha Harding, with those runs from out to in, as we've seen already in this campaign.
Well, nearly 5,500 the attendance inside the Cardiff City Stadium this evening. Just shy of 5,500. A night of celebration, it feels, and Wales just want to finish the job now on the pitch.
Well, it's now just about adding to that, you know, as I've said before, about taking our game to the next level, being ruthless in front of goal, taking chances and building big scores that will put fear into the rest of the teams in the group.
5,455 the attendance. As Holland lets it run through the Fishlock eventually. Ward with her back to goal, trying to set up Ingle. Evans. Much more confidence now about Wales going forward. A bit more urgency. I wonder if that came from the half-time team talk from Gemma Granger. Evans has got room here. A few fans saying shoot. She's gone for Kerry Holland instead, and Estonia just happy to clear it anywhere through Orav.
Do you know what I'm really pleased to see here is I mentioned it a couple of times in the first half, I'd like to see our full-backs in more advanced positions. When you can get your wide forwards then, you know, playing infield against the wide central defenders of the 5 of Estonia, you can then push your full-backs on into those spaces, and that's what we're seeing so far. You know, Kerry Holland was up playing, you know, just as high as Kylie Jones, that is using that width and then playing quickly because you've already made spaces.
Zlidis down for Estonia here. It's a bit of a breather really for the likes of Jones and Evans there with Gemma Granger. Well, she was holding her head, and concussion protocols are as they are. Medical teams can't afford to take any risks, and it remains to see whether she'll come back onto the pitch. Estonia temporarily down to 10. Can Wales take advantage? Ladd. Harding. In towards Fishlock. Again looking for that through pass. It's bounced favourably for Kerry Holland. Takes a touch towards that back post. Is it 3? It is 3. You can't keep Natasha Harding off these score sheets. And it was second time lucky for the Reading player. Initially a good save from Cork, but Harding puts it in for 3, and this record crowd can start to enjoy themselves now.
I'll be honest, I don't think she knew much about that, but hey, when you put the ball in the back of the net, it doesn't matter how. You know, and it's her movement to get in that position in the first place. You see Kerry Holland wanting to come back on her favoured right foot. It's a good in-swing and delivery. And then Natasha Harding's got the goal because she's got herself in that position. She's made the run to the back post. Obviously, defenders missed it, and then it's come off against her. But they all count. As I said, you've got to be in there and put yourself in that position to get a bit of luck like that.
Wales is third of the evening, and Natasha Harding's third of the qualifying campaign.
Can Wales kick on now? That's the big question. I think having a couple of early goals settled the nerves. If they can get another one pretty quickly, we'll definitely see some Wales players coming on. You can see a couple warming up at the minute. Anna Philby, Megan Wynne, Hannah Kane as well. I'm sure Gemma Granger will be looking to get her on to get her first cap for Wales.
Yeah, to become the 174th woman officially to represent Wales in an international. How nice was it to see so many names from the past paraded in front of this crowd at half-time.
I think she is coming on, Hannah Kane. She's just been called back. She's having a little talk now with the... Oh, she's ran back in, so maybe she hasn't got her shin pads on her.
Yeah, you need shin pads in these competitive games. Certainly needed them against Slovenia. Wales were kicked all over the place, but a bit more room on the ball tonight for the likes of this player Ingle and this player Holland. Takes her time. Well, Harding diving in with a header. Cork, in fairness, did well. This is dominant now from Wales.
Yeah, but this is what we want to see. We want to see this tempo. Don't allow Estonia time to get out. Good teams, they could score a few goals. Great teams can score a lot of goals. They can maintain that pressure. And it's draining when you're defending against this wave upon wave upon wave of attack.
James, quick pass to Ingle. It's a heavy one over to Harding. A bit too heavy, in fact. And out for a goal kick.
The link-up between those two, Manghara James and Sophie Ingle, has been superb this evening. They're just finding each other because they're playing off each other beautifully at times. One touch, two touch, the understanding there is clear to see. And obviously was evident with that superb opener.
Well, the Cardiff City Stadium has become a real home for Welsh senior teams, and well, certainly feel at home tonight. Big crowd, and hopefully a scoreline to match now. Evans. Ingle in a very deep position here, but it allows the likes of Fishlock to push forward. Holland tries to get there. Clearance from Amar. There does seem to be some activity on the Estonian bench. Evans. Holland again, she's whipped in a few good balls, and here's another one. Jones, James, Jones. Wales passing with intent here. Holland's ball cleared away. It certainly lifted this crowd. There's 2 goals in the second half. As Fishlock looks for another look for the run of Harding. They have such an understanding, those two.
Harding is so dangerous, as a winger, with making those runs from out to in. We've seen it so many times already, in this campaign, and we can see it again. She's just threatening, and even if she doesn't get on the end of those runs, as I said in the first half, those unselfish movements to drag players out of position and create space.
Well, last-minute analysis for Hannah Kane, ahead of her first Wales cap, we think.
Yeah, really excited to see her get her opportunity. She's involved in youth team with Wales. Obviously went across to England, then worked with Gemma Granger closely.
We thought she was going to make her debut last month, but of course an injury cost her a place in the squad then, having initially been named in the group. Offside against Ward.
Yeah, she just adds a real depth, to the squad again. having players now pushing on your starters constantly. You know, the starters, your Tash Hardings, your Kerry Hollands, they know that their place isn't secure anymore because of the depth being shown in this Welsh side with the additions of people like Holland and Hannah Kane.
Eva Maria Neat replacing Mengel. So first change for the visitors. We've not been in this and been blown away really in the opening exchanges of this second half, and oh, please Gemma Granger so much. Ingle, it's got Roberts in space, Fishlock in front of her, back to Ingle. Evans. They do push forward, these Wales defenders. That pass to James didn't quite work out. Well, we wait to see if Gemma Granger is to make a change. There's a signal, I think, to one of the substitutes, and it could well be Hannah Kane. Harding. Ingle's gone wide. Fishlock takes it over. Lovely layer change from Wales. And a flicked pass from Harding. Free kick, and what a position this is, by the way.
Yeah, great opportunities, a great attacking position here. I initially thought maybe Wales were a little bit too tight there. It was a bit too intricate. There was about 8 Welsh players with about 10 Estonian outfield players, but they managed to work it. A good little flick around the corner by Harding, and then she's wise enough to know that she can win the free kick there, use the body.
Well, Helen Ward receives warm applause with a typical finish. Big smiles from Hannah Kane. And maybe it's the apprentice replacing the master here. What a moment for Hannah Kane of Leicester. Has represented England at youth level, but very much part of the Wales team now.
I think what we might see, judging by the way, just body language and kind of lip read a bit there, is that Tash Harding might actually be going into the central role.
Well, this is Jess Fishlock's type of range. Tries it. Just wide of the post. Not the power, but not the precision.
Yeah, you can see what she's trying to do. She's actually trying to... She's giving the goalkeeper the eyes. She thinks it's going the other side. But then obviously is bringing it back across then.
Well, Estonia have gone short again, and that has invited Natasha Harding's press. What can you tell us about Hannah Kane then, Gwenan?
Well, she's a really exciting youngster, as I said. You know, I played Wales under 17 level, moved across then to England, been involved in their youth level, 17, 19s, 21s, worked with Gemma Granger on numerous occasions. She plays for Leicester. She's really, as we've seen there, really forward, direct, likes to take players on, can go with both feet as well. As I said, he's going to add real quality and is pushing again for the quality of the starting 11 to be spot on, because she'll be waiting in the wings to get a starting position.
Ladd, Roberts. It's another whipped cross towards Jones. Tremendous delivery from Rhiannon Roberts.
That's a great delivery. Just got to see and how Carrie Jones there making that run towards the back post. She was just a little bit hesitant to start with. When you're playing as that wide winger, you have to make sure that you're reading the play, you're ready for anything that's coming in from the opposite side.
Ladd. Here's Hannah Kane. Taking on Mirasalu. Trying to get the cross in. Oh, that's a brilliant ball to Fishlock. It's got to be a penalty. Surely it's a penalty. Well, the referee has said no. I think all indications there were that the Spanish referee was about to point to the spot. Well, Gemma Granger will want to see that again, I'm sure.
I'm absolutely gobsmacked. When I was looking straight at her reaction, and she's actually looking for assistance from her lineswoman. It looked like a stone wall from where we were.
Well, here's the replay, Gwenan. Ooh.
Well, actually, yeah, well, you know, we're lucky that we've got replays, but yeah, when you look at it back,
Fairness to the referee, they don't have that luxury, do they?
Yeah, maybe she was looking from her side, could see, but obviously, as I said, looking for the assistance of her lineswoman and the assistant referee. Actually, when you look at it, Fisherlock's actually quite lucky not to be booked for that.
Just goes to show first impressions and all of that. James is free here. Nice ball to Kane. Well, let's have another look at it then.
Well, it's the first touch, isn't it? The touch, well, it was great play by Hannah Kane originally. She looks to face up the defender, reverse pass in. Probably a heavy first touch in a one sense, but it's taking her the momentum of it. And then that angle, obviously, is exactly what the referee has seen. We're seeing, and have the luxury of seeing this opposite angle where, yeah, there's...
Well, I think we've done the referee a disservice here, in fairness, who had a good look at that, in fairness. Marta Frias Acedo of Spain. Of course, they don't have the luxury of VAR as well. But it's still 3-0. And Wales after more. Ball over the top to Harding, off the shoulder of the defender. Be supported by Jones. Holland could get there. Jones does. It's worth a shot. Ingle. He's found his way to Fishlock. Kane to Ingle, and here is Kane. Good burst of pace. Good first-time ball. And away by Amma. But Wales continue to push. Holland. Teasing ball. Doesn't reach Harding. Here's Roberts. Well, Hannah Kane has certainly made an impression off the bench. Get your thoughts in a moment, Gwenan. But here's Roberts in towards Harding. Wales have done everything but get that fourth goal.
Well, it was good defending there, actually, but I like the patience in the build-up. You know, you can sometimes get a little bit bogged down. You just want to get that next goal, the next goal. But they actually just took their time, got their width back as well. Again, created the space. It was actually good play. It was a good run across by Natasha Harding, like we've seen from Helen Ward throughout the game, across the front post.
And with Hannah Kane behind her as well, so there were options. James towards Harding. Oh, it could go to Holland. Couldn't quite control it. Back in from Evans. And Estonia really making a real mess of that. Kane's header caught by Cork in the end.
Yeah, and fatigue will be a big issue because obviously they've had to do a huge amount of defending. As I said, Wales have been patient, moving them, dragging them from side to side. And these last 25 minutes, from a Welsh perspective, you'd hope to see more gaps appearing. You could see they're getting deeper and deeper. But Hannah Kane has been superb since she's come on, made a real impression. And what I like about it is, you know, I said before that she's two-footed, but she actually receives the ball with either foot as well, and that's really difficult for a defender when you're going to close down that player and you're unsure straight away, or actually, I'm not sure which way she's going to go because she's receiving it with either foot.
Poor pass from Roberts. A rare chance for Estonia to attack Treiberg, who barely had the ball in this game. Here comes Kane. Look at the Harding. Fishlock battling for it. Gemma Granger will be pleased with the contribution of Hannah Kane. And there may be more to come off the bench as well. You would expected to think that the result is safe now. 3-0, looks very comfortable.
Well, I can only remember Estonia coming out of the half on one occasion, so you would surely hope so.
Jones goes down. Tackle from Orav. Foul from Orav. Jones wants it quickly. And Harry James will come across to take this. We've seen some quality goals from Wales in this qualifying campaign. The game against Kazakhstan was almost like a goal of the season competition in itself, but tonight certainly goals of high quality. James looking to turn provider here. There's Estonia, very organised at the back in the way that they line up, and they've conceded the corner. It is Amma who puts the header wide, and it'll be another Harry James delivery.
Yeah, that was a great free kick. It was into that back post.
Short to Jones. Back to James. Cross or a shot? Well, in the end, it was probably neither, but it does go out for a corner.
Well, I'm pretty sure that was a shot. It was straight on target, but there's too many bodies in the way.
Another short one to Jones. Low drive. And a third successive corner as a result. This goes to show a speculative shot or a cross from outside the area can cause real problems for this Estonian defence. A high one from James this time, looking for Evans. Ingles' header falls to Roberts. Referee's whistle went.
Yeah, and Estonia will be so relieved just to get, you know, a breather. They'll take their time now just to walk back up. They'll get into shape. The bank of 5, bank of 4 in front of them.
It's been a whirlwind year for Gemma Granger. Signed that 4-year deal back in March. A real new journey for her after 11 years with the FA. And I must say her Welsh has improved as well. Spoke to her in midweek. Treiberg, good covering from Evans. Well, for the first time this evening, Wales have had to do some defending.
Good play, good reading of the game by Gemma Evans. We've seen it on a couple of occasions, actually. Just maybe not so deep in Wales's half, but you know, we're used to seeing her as a left back or left wing back, but she's actually converted to that left centre half role very, very well. She plays for Reading. She moved there from Bristol this summer. And, you know, Reading have had a difficult start to the season, but she's certainly been one of their shining lights. She's been superb in the centre of their defence.
James with the dispossession there. Fishlock has touched to Harding. James goes for the long ball this time, finds Fishlock. Jones. Wales get out of trouble with such ease. And it's back to the patient build-up play. Harry Holland. The Fishlock of OL Reign. Sets it up for Holland. Pulled the trigger. A bit too early, perhaps. Wales still going. Fishlock with the early cross this time. Easy one for Cork to deal with. Let's bring in Katie Sherwood, one of our studio guests this evening, and it's all very comfortable at the moment, Katie, at 3-0.
Yeah, you know, we've had a lovely show, haven't we, really? You know, the fans are here, and you know, what a great spectacle we've had. I just want Wales to be more ruthless now. Let's make Estonia suffer, really. You know, we want to be that team who are relentless. Let's see a different side to Wales. I'd like to see some more subs introduced as well. You know, we've talked about the luxury that Gemma has on the bench. This is a perfect opportunity to introduce some younger players and give them that experience. Thinking about Poppy, who can come in for Laura in goal. Is this a perfect chance for her to come in and get some more minutes and experience a qualifying game? But yeah, I would like Wales to be even more ruthless, and I think there's many more goals in this game.
Well, Estonia putting their own pressure on Wales here, and Kubasova on that occasion almost robbing Hayley Ladd. And before that, Gwen, we saw Laura O'Sullivan called into action.
Yeah, just a lack of communication more than anything, and we actually seen glimpses of that on Friday night as well. So it's an area Wales need to be aware of, because obviously we've had not much to do for so long.
Harding's through. Needs support. Has it in Fishlock. Kane. Deflected shot almost goes into the path of James. Cork does well again in reading the situation.
Yeah, I think just initially on that first touch by Hannah Kane's actually taken her really far away from goal. So yes, she's coming across, but the ball's actually coming back towards her own goal. It's hard then to get your body around that with power.
Evans. Wales will know that 3 points will be huge tonight in putting the pressure on Slovenia and France. James wants to make it better here. Fishlock towards Kane. Has to work hard to keep it in here. Now she needs the support. Roberts. Wales have kept that ball moving, kept up the tempo. Ingle. Lobbed pass. Well, the flag goes up against Fishlock.
Yeah, but just those movements help. So, as I said before, when you're playing against a back four, back five that's sitting really low, you need to threaten him behind, because obviously then it's really difficult to defend against first and foremost. But it stretches the defence and it creates space in front of you. But as well, it plants a seed of doubt in the defender's mind, because they're unsure where that movement's going to be. Now, when we played away from home, there wasn't those movements in behind as often when we were so high up.
Oh, lovely turn of pace from Carrie Jones, and she's away. Could go all the way. Terrific run from Jones. Estonia happy to see that offside flag go up, but how about this for a turn of pace from the Manchester United teenager?
Yeah, it's not all gone her way this evening. It's been a real big learning curve. She's actually coming off now as well, but great initial piece of skill. You know, and she's got such a bright future ahead of her. Just wanted a little bit too much time there. She should have just shot when it opened up for her.
Well, that was the last action for Carrie Jones, and Lily Woodham coming on in her place. Big smiles from Woodham to Jones, and let's see what Lily Woodham can do. Of course, scored in her debut against the Faroe Islands.
Well, we've seen her come straight on and playing in a left-back position role, so that obviously means then that Kerry Holland's pushed further forward into the more advanced role that she'd like to be playing.
Lily Woodham on loan at Bristol City from Reading at the moment. Ball down with Ingle. First touch for Woodham. Nice pass to Harding. James is free. James goes it all on her own. In towards Fishlock. I thought for a moment she was going to pull the trigger. Woodham. It's done well. Is the cross there? It is! And Kane came running in. Roberts. In towards Holland, who's in that forward position now. And Estonia just begging for mercy here. Wales completely dominant and deserve that fourth goal.
Oh, they deserve more than four, I think, especially second half have been a lot quicker in possession. Tempo's been better. Players in more advanced, more movements off the ball to create space.
Fishlock and Kane combine. Kane's cross to Harding. Sets it up for Fishlock. Well, great save from Cork. Not a bad attempt at all from Hannah Kane.
The technique on that attempt is superb. You just see as it bounces up here, to try and keep this down, but meet it first, you couldn't see it quite, but to cut across it whilst trying to keep it down is such a difficult skill. And what she does really well, as I said, is make sure that her body is placed over the ball, but you know, that's a really hard skill to master.
Ladd pushing forward. Well, Hannah Kane has been a revelation since coming off the bench. Can she cut off her debut with a goal. Woodham, again a very composed player on the ball, beyond her years really.
Yeah, I mean, when she came on for her debut for Wales, she played in an attacking position. She got a superb goal with a head. She seems to be employed more when she was at Reading. As a left back. But what I do like now is that there's a bit more balance with the Welsh side. We've got two natural left footers. Was her going and making overlaps down that left wing now. She's going to hit the byline more times than not and reach the byline, then cross it in. Whereas we've seen before with Carrie Jones, Kerry Holland, they want to come back on their right foot, their stronger foot. So as I said, you know, she wants to reach the byline there and stay on her favoured foot. And it's a great little clip ball in towards the back post. Hannah Kane inches away.
Well, we've been treated tonight, and this record crowd have certainly been treated tonight. Nearly 5,500. I've seen some excellent goals, and it all started with Anhara James and this finish.
Yeah, and the pace of the pass by Ingle, but look at the finish by Anhara. She's passing it into the corner. As we said before, that composure, the same here, the composure to just pass the ball into the corner, find the space that you're looking for, and then relax when you're playing it. Or maybe this one is a tiny bit, little bit different, but they all count, you know. And as I said, she was in that position in the first place to get the goal.
Well, I know you forwards. It doesn't matter if it's a toe punt or a volley from outside the area. Goals are goals. Change for Estonia here. Hilary Saar coming on for Orav. Tough all night for Estonia. Tough few days really. That 11-0 defeat to France meant that they came into this game at a low ebb.
It is worth noting, you know, that, as I said, they've got 5-6 starting players that were playing against Wales and Slovenia in the opening block of fixtures, missing from this campaign, and they're starting players as well. So obviously they are weakened.
Both Woodham and Holland both battling for it. Good play from Woodham. Hasn't put a foot wrong since she's come onto the pitch. You consider Esther Morgan as well in the last game, the future defensively for Wales, as well as those players who can come on in attack. Looks very bright. And
you say that, you know, the under-17s and the under-19s have been in action this week. The under-17s actually playing in Tier 1 with the top-ranked nations. Lost to Italy 2-0, lost to France 4-0, but some really late goals conceded.
Fishlock battling for it as well to try and clip it in, and it's a corner.
Yeah, and then the under-19s, they've been playing, they've been in action this week. They beat Andorra 3-0, beat Moldova 4-0. And they've secured qualification then to the A-League for the next round of the Euro qualifiers. So, as you mentioned then, you know, the future's bright. There's some really good players, especially in that 19 squad. Maria Francis-Jones, Bethan Roberts, Bethan McGowan, that will be looking to push through to the senior squad very soon.
James with a corner. Wales looking for a fourth. Roberts, first time volley. Awkward one to take on. Well, it's been a busy night in Group I. And England 10-0 winners, by the way, in Group D in Latvia. Terrific result for them. And in terms of the other home nations, Northern Ireland 2, Austria 2. Got an ooh from Gwennon Harris.
Yeah, that's, you know, a tight game, but Austria a good side, and Northern Ireland have been improving, as we know.
Slovenia 4-1 winners at Greece in Wales's group. And also France 5-0 winners earlier in Kazakhstan. It does look like a shootout, doesn't it, between Wales and Slovenia for second. But Gemma Granger said to me in midweek, hey, we can beat France. And she believes that, and why not?
Well, look, we played against Canada, played against Denmark. We ran the Olympic champions in Canada. You know, they didn't concede till the 60th minute against us, and they were actually quite poor goals that were easily eradicated. We drew 1-1 and should have beaten Denmark, one of the top teams in Europe here. So you have to have that belief, that confidence. What Wales need to ensure is that if we do get a chance against France, we show the clinical edge that's needed at international level to take results against top nations.
Yeah, big game against France next month, Greece as well. So it could all end up with a showdown against Slovenia at home. But we don't even want to think about that at this stage. A lot of football to be played. Fishlock, first time touch. Ingle, oh, lovely pass, Harding's on sides. Falls to Kane, back to Harding. Well, Ingle fooled everyone there. We thought she was going to shoot, but her football intelligence is out of this world. And that's another nice little pass to Woodham, who's done well. Wales pushing Estonia all the way here. And Ingle's cross to the end is cleared away.
Well, that was a great chance for Harding. I think she just wanted a little bit too much time. She did really well to open the body up. And then in that time, to try and pull the trigger. The Estonian defence, credit to them, last gasp defending, really threw a body on the line.
James, flick it into Harding, does well to keep it in. Natasha Harding, and slid this, to her credit, stood firm. But it's these little passes, these little nicks that Wales have executed brilliantly tonight.
Yeah, there's actually more space for these passes this evening because we're playing on a bigger pitch. As I mentioned in the first half, Jarmo Matkinen played us on a really narrow pitch out in Estonia. And there wasn't that space, there wasn't that movement either. And those movements in behind then, they put that seed of doubt into the Estonian defence because they're not sure what type of movement they're going to face up against next time, so it keeps them honest.
It's the other Sa on for Treiberg for Estonia. So both Valeri and Marie. And there is activity on the Wales bench as well. And you just wonder who's going to come on next as James tries it, and it could be a double change, in fact, for Gemma Granger. But this is another great chance. James has really been in the thick of the action tonight.
Yeah, just sat up well for her, didn't it? And as I mentioned previously, just a link-up play between England and Anghara James, definitely on the same wavelength and been on point this evening.
Well, Olivia Clark and Anna Philby preparing to come on. We've seen a fair bit of Philby over the years, certainly during the Jane Ludlow era, currently at Charlton. It was Kane. Well, she has been a bright spark since coming off the bench, Hannah Kane.
She certainly has been.
And confirmation of those changes then. Kerry Holland making way, started at left back this evening, then adopted a more forward position when Lily Woodham came on. And the other change, Laura O'Sullivan, who won't have had many quieter nights, and that's a good thing to say if you're a Wales fan. O'Sullivan making way for Olivia Clark.
Yeah, it's great to see these Welsh youngsters, you know, getting on, especially in front of this crowd, gaining that experience. Olivia Clark had her first cap against Scotland, come on for her second.
There's a player down, Fishlock. I don't know if there was an off-the-ball incident there, but Wales have a second chance to put the ball in here. Here's Hayley Ladd. Fishlock. Well, did have the chance to try and just shield the ball there from Badakova.
Yeah, and you mentioned, sorry, about, you know, just the age of the players, and that we've got a good, you know, defensive line coming through. Philby, Clark, you know, they are the future of the game, and they're gaining huge experience by being involved with this squad, with the quality of the players of Ingle, Anghara James, Fishlock. But being exposed to this environment now is a real test for them, and you know, we'll see just how good they can cope in this environment.
Lovely football again, and it's Philby looking for Woodham, another Wales corner. And Anghara James, well, she's mixed up the corners tonight. Could be a short one to Woodham. And Anghara James of North Carolina courage with this corner kick. Drives it in. Estonia just happy for it to get anywhere. Doubts challenged well by Anna Philby. Ingle to Evans, maybe worth a shot. James. And it's into no man's land. And Wales want to keep that ball moving, even at this late stage. Kane. More central position this time. Woodham. And it's a cross or a shot, and it's into the hands of the goalkeeper. Well, Gwenan, who is your player of the match this evening?
Well, it's been a great performance by Wales. I think the midfield duo of Ingle and Angharad James run it close. Ingle was close to the movements, but Angharad James has been absolutely superb this evening, been the heartbeat of the team. As I said, she always is the one that really causes Wales to really press the intensity. But in possession, she's been fantastic, looking for those through balls, great deliveries from set pieces, and then her movements off the ball. And as we've seen, the opening goal got Wales going. Angharad James is my player of the match this evening.
And her third goal for Wales as well. Such a composed finish. First touch for Olivia Clark here. To additional time, 3 minutes added on. Still time for Wales to get that fourth and send this record crowd home happy.
Yeah, good play by Philby to get herself in that space, and then she didn't actually need to drill the ball. We've just seen her drill the ball into the space for Hannah Kane. Was asking a lot. She actually just needed to pass it. You know, there's enough zip on the surface of this beautiful Cardiff City Stadium pitch.
A good night's work for Gemma Granger. The unbeaten start continues in competitive games in World Cup qualifying. The aim, of course, 2023 and those finals in Australia and New Zealand. That is what every Welsh fan dreams of. Mama. James. Woodham backtracking. Gemma Evans with the foot in. Estonia, a long way to go, of course, in the development of their team, and Jarmo Matikainen is a man who brings expertise, but it has been a frustrating night for them. They haven't really been in it, and it has been an issue of quality, hasn't it?
Well, they haven't been in it at all. You know, you only got to look at their setup to see that, you know, and when the possession, or they're trying to put the ball up to the centre forward, she had no interest in trying to keep it. They came here for a point. As soon as you break down that, you know, that barrier, then you'd hope to see the system change, but it hadn't. Well, it's a real positive time for Welsh football. Obviously, you know, still remain unbeaten in this group. The 17s and the 19s performing really, really well, and Lauren Dykes and Nicola Anderson. And the Welsh Premier League is in great flow as well. A good battle at the minute.
Kane is flowing forward here. Ingle, this will finish it. Takes a touch. 4-0. Ingle's class seals a 4-0 victory for Wales. And that will do for Gemma Granger. High fives all round. And the captain finishes it for Wales.
So pleased for her. You know, she really deserved that. As I said, it was a close run between her and Angharad James for the player of the match. The pace of the pass for the first goal, and just look at the way she reads the play. You know, she's asking for it there, doesn't get it, but she's following in, and then composure. You know, that is one word that you definitely put together with Sophie Ingle. You know, she just feigns it like she's done a couple of times, and then just smashes it home with her left foot. A great finish, and deserve it. Fourth goal for Wales.
I can't believe I suggested in the first half that her left foot may be a weaker one. You never really can tell with the Chelsea midfielder. It's over. In front of nearly 5,500, Wales maintain their unbeaten starts in World Cup qualifying. 4 splendid goals, topped off by Sophie Ingle at the very end. And Angharad James started it all. Helen Ward showed great composure with her finish, and Natasha Harding was on the score sheet as well. Job done, Gwenan.
Job certainly done. 4 points from this international window, still unbeaten, still putting pressure on France at the top of the group and going into the next international window against Greece and France in good high spirits and full of confidence.
It's been a night of celebration in the women's game, and the players going to greet those fans who've turned out in numbers at the Cardiff City Stadium. A night to celebrate for all. And a big shout from Natasha Harding too. It's finished. Wales 4, Estonia 0. Play to Ingle. James has continued her run. Lovely play. And Hannah James goes to the middle towards 2-0. Takes a touch towards that back post. Is it 3? It is 3. To Fishlock. It's got to be a penalty. Well, the referee has said no. Oh, lovely turn of pace. Great save from Cork.
And in the dying moments of the game, there was another goal for Captain Fantastic Sophie Ingle, and look at the celebrations. The players living life and living that victory. Another 3 points to add to the tally, and look at the celebrations in front of a record-breaking home crowd, don't forget. And they're enjoying themselves, enjoying that victory. The crowd as well applauding that effort from Wales. 4 goals, a convincing display, a good performance. And Katie, it's not just the 3 points we're celebrating. As I said there, the performance this evening was much better than what we saw a few weeks ago in the away fixture against this side.
Yeah, exactly. And what Gemma Granger said before the game, every game she wants to do one better. And that's exactly what we've seen here tonight. We've seen a patient play from Wales. And just those combinations between the midfield, the strikers, our wide players getting involved. It's just a much more complete performance this evening in front of a record-breaking crowd, and our legends as well in the stand.
Exactly, doing it for the legends who are here this evening. Is that what pleased you as well, Nia? Everybody getting involved?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I don't envy Gwenan having to pick a player of the match, because I thought Wales were absolutely outstanding tonight. And I know it's easy to look at the ranking of Estonia, but we saw last time out how organised they can be, but Wales were just too much for them tonight. The movement off the ball, the way that they moved it from left to right, dragging players out of positions, and just looking at those scenes here tonight, and like Katie said, in front of trailblazers that have come before, these players now are living the dreams of the players that have played previously. And I couldn't envision that Wales would ever play on a stage like this with 5,000 people all cheering at the end of a game like that. There's not many games that you play internationally that you can really enjoy. The last 10-15 minutes there were just such a joy to watch.
Well, let's see if Gemma Granger, the Wales manager, enjoyed that one. I'm sure she did. She's with Laura.
Gemma, the unbeaten run continues, another clean sheet, and actually you're able to use the bench. What's your biggest takeaway from tonight?
I think one of the biggest things for me is how much we've learned quickly since the last time we played this opposition. You know, we knew we would have to be patient, they were well organised, and I think we've brought them down. We've created as many chances as we did last time, but we've finished more, so it's a really pleasing team performance.
You were patient. That goal came from Wales's record goal scorer. A lovely moment for Helen Ward. How important was the timing of that one at the beginning of the second half?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the timing of the goal was crucial. I think that everyone in the squad is going to play a part in the campaign. You know, and Helen's done that today. She's played her part in the game, and it's just so pleasing to see.
Those that did play a part who came on in the second half, Hannah Kane, one of them, who made her debut. She's got a very promising future, hasn't she?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, that's another added benefit. We wanted to add some more depth to the squad. We wanted to add competition, because that's the direction we want to move in. It's our mentality. You know, we want to be competing, we want to be qualifying. So that's the mentality. So really pleasing to see her.
Gemma, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, Gemma Granger very happy with that result. And let's have a look at the table then and see what that does to Group I. Well, Wales stay in that second position, but look at the points they have now. 10 points 2 behind France, who are top of the group. They earlier beat Kazakhstan, and Slovenia earlier beat Greece. But we're all looking at that second place for Wales. And we've got some company here in the studio as well. Wales's record goal scorer, that still sounds so good. Helen Ward is with us. You added to your tally this evening, and Gemma was just telling us how important the timing of that goal was.
Yeah, I think so. I think, you know, we'd obviously got the goal in the first half, but they were sitting in a deep block as we'd expected and making things difficult for us. But yeah, to score so soon after half time, I think really settled everyone and got the crowd going, and yeah, it set us on our way to a good victory in the end.
And does goal number 44 feel as special as goal number 1?
Every single one feels as special as the first. So no, I'm delighted. I never take it for granted to be out there, you know. I know there's some youngsters coming through ready to take my place. So yeah, every chance I get to be on the pitch is an honour, and you know, to top it off a goal, I can't ask for any more.
Yeah, they're keeping you on your toes, aren't they? And there's some real talent in the squad now.
Yeah, unbelievable. I mean, you've seen Carrie from the start today. She's fearless, she gets at players, she wants to work hard for the team, and yeah, she's great, and she's just one of a number of players. I mean, Hannah, who came on, thought she looked really good. She almost scored an absolute worldie, and I would have been delighted for her, but you know, there's plenty to come from this whole squad, and it's a really exciting thing to be a part of at the moment.
And let's have a little look at your goal, actually, because you had a few opportunities in that first half, and I bet you were glad to get it in the end.
I was, and what makes it even more special is it's my roomie Raza. We've been talking about this in the last few days, that she was going to set me up. I mean, what a pass that is!
All
absolutely eye of a
planned,
needle, and yeah, nice to get on the end of it.
And how much would you love to get to a major tournament? I know it's a stupid question, but you're one of the veterans maybe of this squad. Maybe your last opportunity, you're in that second place and you're really fighting hard for it. You've had the perfect start to this campaign.
We have, yeah. I think we've learnt a lot from the last few campaigns, you know, where we've gone wrong and what we need to do, and you know, at the moment we can't ask any more of each other. Tough game that we had on Friday night, but it could prove to be a really vital point for us. So yeah, the dream is to get to Australia and New Zealand and potentially hang my boots up there. I mean, it would be a perfect way to end, but we know there's a long way to go.
We would be ecstatic if you got there. You deserve to get there. And enjoyed playing in front of the 5,000 very quickly?
Yeah, amazing. Like, unbelievable noise from them, and to sell out our record attendance for a game against, you know, no disrespect to Estonia, you know, you think of France coming here in April, we're hoping it's going to be even more.
Well, thanks ever so much for your time. Go and celebrate with the rest of your teammates. Thanks very much. All smiles from Helen Ward. Let's talk about the third goal then, Tash Harding. Maybe not a worldie, but every goal counts, doesn't it?
Yeah, even when they come off your shin, she won't care. What you want is when you're playing in that wide area like Natasha Harding is, she's sniffing out and she's making that back post run. Thought Kerry Holland had a really, really good game from left back, and that's what you want to do, put the ball in the box, and it's a great run from Tash. Keeper does well to get someone on it, but she's there for the ricochet, and yeah, it's just great to see forward players chipping in with goals. Like we said, we're not just saying the same names in all of these games. We're not just saying it's Fishlock, it's Ingle. Everybody is chipping in and playing their part, and that's going to be so important by the end of the campaign.
And let's talk about Hannah Kane as well, her debut this evening. How did she get on?
You know, what an exciting prospect she is in addition to this team. She looked fearless tonight, and Gwen talked about in commentary, she's so confident using both feet. You know, she'll attack players on the inside, the outside, but also providing those assists as well. I was really, really impressed with her forward play this evening.
Yeah, fearless is a perfect word. She's a powerful girl, will take anybody on in front of her, and actually she combined really, really well with Fishlock tonight. Every time Fishlock got the ball, she looked to see if she could bring her in, and that's really exciting.
Look, I think we could get some very quick reaction. Laura's got some company.
And Harrod, 4-0 the scoreline on the night, 4 games in a row unbeaten. What have you taken away from tonight's performance?
Yeah, it took us a while to break them down. We knew they were going to be a good side, but credit to the girls, we stuck to the game plan and scoring 4 goals. You know, with this crowd behind us, it was a great night.
You had to be patient for that first goal. It was a little bit like the away leg. Talk me through your goal.
Yeah, Sophie is a class player, and I knew as soon as she had that ball, she was going to play me through, and thankfully went in the back of the net.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, obviously ecstatic with the win, and the crowd here, they are very slowly leaving, but some of them are staying. They want to see their idols after that display and that win. Girls, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure, and we've had plenty to talk about and plenty to be positive about with that performance. And there we have it. Wales have another 3 points to add to the tally. They go again next month against tougher opposition. Hopefully you'll join us then. Until then, good night. Nos da.
Here's James, and that is the opening goal. Wales had to be patient. Goes to the middle, towards 2-0. Wales' third of the evening.
Can Wales kick on now?
Oh, lovely turn of pace. In goal, this will finish it. Takes a touch. 4-0.